All right, guys, welcome back to another lesson for math for Algebra 1, and this is going to be lesson 99, solving rational equations. This will be a whole week today. We'll mark a whole week of us doing math at home. Hopefully you guys are following along, you're learning. You're also excited about learning more next week, because more math is coming to you next week, and it's going to be once a day. And again, let me know if you have any questions, any difficulties that you might have in the lesson so far. You may comment down below, or you can obviously do it in the Google Classroom. I haven't checked the analytics, so I don't know how many subscribers I have. I'm guessing maybe like 16 or so. So obviously well on my way. And so today we're just going to do this lesson. I don't think it's going to be that hard. So let's get down to business. Okay, so let's start with the first example. And so what we have to do is cross multiply this one. Boom, boom. And boom, boom. And so it's going to be 3x minus 6 equals 5x, right? And so we're going to distribute the 3 and the x minus 6. So it's going to be 3x minus 18 equals 5x. We're always, and I always tell you, please move from the least amount of x to the most amount of x. So we're going to move it from the left to the right, and it's going to be subtracted. So it's going to be negative 18 equals 2x. Then we're going to divide by 2. There's going to be negative 9 equals x. And that is how you solve the first example. All right, I thought I was done with the first example, example 1a, but I was wrong. We have to actually check if the answer is extraneous. So extraneous means that whether or not it makes sense when we plug it back in. So we're going to actually plug it back in. So we saw from the previous clip that x is the same thing as negative 9. So we're just going to put negative 9 here. And it's going to be 3 over negative 9 equals 5. Negative 9 minus 6, right? Just like that. And so 3 over negative 9 is going to be negative 1/3. And 5 over negative 9 minus 6 is going to be negative 15. So it is going to be negative 15 over 5. And so negative 1/3. 5 over 15 is the same thing as negative 1/3. The solution checks out, so it's not an extraneous answer. The answer is x equals negative 9. All right, so the second example, we have x over 4 equals 3 over x minus 1. Again, we're going to do cross multiplication. By the way, this is not the second example. This is first example, second part, 1b. And so we're going to multiply x times x minus 1 and 4 times 3, which is 12. That is right. That is that right off the bat. And so in here we have, if we distribute the x, it's going to be x squared minus x equals 12. The way to actually solve this is to actually move the 12 to here and then actually make it all equal to 0, so that we can actually factor it out as a trinomial into two binomials. You have to have a trained eye to be able to understand it, but we've done that before. So what we're going to do is move the 12 from the right to the left. And so it's going to be minus, right, negative x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. Now, negative 12 is going to be, we're going to get this product or this number from multiplying 4 times 3. Negative 4 times positive 3, so that it is negative, and in here we get the negative. So it's going to be x minus 4x plus 3. That's going to actually give us that. You need to become really quick at factoring just like that. And so we're just going to put this equal to 0, x minus 4 equal to 0, and x plus 3 equal to 0. X minus 4 is going to be x equals 4, and x plus 3 equals 0 equals x minus 3. So now we have 4 and negative 3. Now we need to check. We have to check both answers. I know the first example we only got one number, but now we have two, and we have to check from the beginning. So we're going to check it when x equals 4. All right. Let's just put a semicolon. And so it's going to be 4 over 4, which is 1, equals 3 over 4 minus 1. 4 over 4 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3, so 3 over 3. 1 equals 1. Wow, look at that. And now what if x is equal to negative 3? Well, 4 over negative 3 equals 3 over negative 3 minus 1. And so, oh, the 3 goes on top. My bad. You see, this is why it's important to check. Negative 3/4 is the same thing as 3 over negative 3 minus 1. Negative 3/4 is going to be the same thing as 3 over negative 4, because positive and negative is negative, and negative and positive is negative. It is the same thing, so we have finished there. All right, moving on. This is example 2. So we're going to have to find least common denominator to be able to add these two. This is going to be really easy because the least common denominator is going to be 2x. And here we just have x, so we're going to just multiply by 2 times 2. So 3x plus 16, 2x equals 11. So that's going to be 6 times over 2x plus 16 over 2x equals 11. So 6 and 16 is going to be 22 over 2x equals 11 over 1. And then we can cross multiply so that it's way easier to do it. And so 2 times 11 is going to be 22x equals 22. And x is going to be equal to 1. Now we have to check. So we're going to check when x equals 1. So we're going to put the 1 where at the beginning. So 3 over 1 plus 16 over 2 times 1 equals 11. Well, 3 over 1 is 3 plus 16 divided by 2 is 8 equals 11. Oh, look at that. 11 equals 11. And we finished this example. All right, I'm back, Babatunde, with example 3. Don't forget the little Babatunde song. It's something for y'all to, keep remembering and be happy about. Okay, so this one we have to do the LCD, the least common denominator. The least common denominator in this one is a little bit weird because we have 3 rational expressions here in this equation. And so you have to know that the least common denominator is going to be what is common between x minus 1, x, and 2x. Well, from x to 2x, we just have to multiply times 2. So we do have to have that 2. We have to have that x because this is going to be common in between these two. And then we have to have the x minus 1 because that's what is missing here. So please pay attention because we're going to solve it a little bit different than the other ones that we have done before, just because we have a denominator in every one of the expressions here for this equation. And so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply everything by 2x times x minus 1. And you'll see what's going to happen. So you multiply the first term by that, 3 over x minus 1. I know I might be covering the camera, but now you can see 2x, x minus 1 times 3 over x minus 1. And then minus 2x times 2x, x minus 1. It doesn't matter if it comes in the beginning or in the end. It's the same thing. And then 5 2x, and what I meant at the beginning of the end is this. 2x minus x1 could be in the front, it could be in the back, is the same thing. You're multiplying them together. Times 2x times x minus 1. All right, hopefully you can see that. So now what we're going to do is pretty easy. We're going to cancel out the denominators of some of these things with the step that we have here. So what are we left with? 3x times 2, which is 6x. Look at that. Makes it a lot simpler. Minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4x minus 1 equals 5 times x minus 1. Then we're going to distribute the 4. We're going to distribute the 5. And so it's going to be 6x minus 4x plus 4. Y plus, negative and negative is positive, equals 5x minus 5. Look at that. 6x minus 4x is going to be 2x plus 4 equals 5x minus 5, right? And then we are going to combine each other. So we're going to leave the x on the right and the non-x or the constants to the left. And so to move it over here, it's going to become 9. And in here, it's going to be 3x because 5x minus 2x is 3x. And so x is going to be, that's correct, 3. X is going to be 3. And that is the first part of it. Now we have to check it. All right, it's checking time. So now that we have the check time, so what we're going to do is we're just going to put the 3 where the x is and see if that matches. So 3 over 3 minus 1 minus 2 over 3 equals 5 times 2 times 3 over 2 times 3. So 3 and 3 minus 1 is going to be 3 halves minus 2/3 equals 5/6. Well, we have to find common denominator here, unfortunately, because it's a fraction. So the common denominator is going to be 6. What did I do? I multiply 2 times 3, so it's going to be 9/6 minus, and in here I multiply by 4. 4/6 is going to be 5/6. Look at that. 5/6 equals 5/6. Boom. Checked. Finally, the last example. Yay! This is the last example of the week. So no more math until Monday. Hooray, Baba Tunde. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do math, obviously. And then we're going to check for extraneous solutions. That's what we are going to do. So again, what we're going to do is cross multiply. So once we get to this part, we're going to do FOIL because we need to be able to get it all together. So it's going to be 2x cubed, 2x squared, and you have to become really good at FOIL. Minus 5x. No, sorry. Whoo. I tell you, you have to become really good at FOIL, and then I make a mistake. It's going to be minus 6x plus 4 equals, this one's way easier, x squared plus 7x minus 18. Okay? That's what it was going to be. And so now I'm going to move everything to the left. Everything. I'm going to move absolutely everything to the left. And the reason is because I have more x squared to the left than in here. And so everything is going to be moved. So in here, I'm going to, I haven't been doing this because I don't have a lot of room in my board, but I'm going to actually subtract everything so that you can see what I'm going to do. So because this is positive, I subtract. Because this is positive, I subtract. Because it's negative, I'm going to add. So I'm going to add 18 here. I'm going to subtract 7x here. And I'm going to subtract x squared here. So what I'm going to end up with is a 0 on the right and on the left. 2x squared minus x squared is going to be x squared. minus 13x plus 22. Okay? Now, 22 is, we can get it from 11 times 2, and that is perfect because 11 plus 2 is going to be 13. And so that's what it's going to be. And it's obviously going to be negative because in here I got the positive. So it's going to be x minus 11, x minus 2 equals 0. And that is how you find the factorization, but we're not done yet. We have to find what x is. So in here, x minus 11 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. Right? So x minus 11 equals 0, x equals 11, or x equals 2, and x equals 2. Now we're going to check. Time to check. This is going to be the last thing that we have to do, but then we have to do two checks. We have to do a check for x equals 11 and x equals 2. So let's start with x equals 11. So 11 minus 1 over 11 minus 2 equals 11 plus 9 over 2 times 11 minus 4. That's what it is. And so 11 minus 1 is going to be 10, and 11 minus 2 over 9. 10 over 9. And then 11 plus 9 is going to be 20. Right? And 2 times 11 is 22 minus 4. There's a minus. Minus 4 is going to be 18. What do you know? 10 over 9 is the same thing as 10 over 9 because we simplified and it's the same. Check. Now, what happens when we say that x equals 2? Well, let's find out. We're going to say 2 minus... Oh, that's not a minus. I don't know what that is. 2 minus 1, right, is going to be the same thing as 2 minus 2. Oh, and this equal to 2 plus 9 over 2 times 2 minus 4. Well, I already see what's going to happen here because 2 minus 1 is 1, but 2 minus 2 is 0. Uh-oh, we cannot divide by 0. And 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 4 is 0. Uh-oh, we cannot divide by 0. So this is not an answer. This is an extraneous solution, meaning that it cannot happen. And so what we're going to say that the only solution is 11. Because 2, even though we actually found out that could be one of the solutions, when we checked, it is not it. So this is an extraneous solution. We don't want it. It's just 11. And that would be it for this week of math. Take the weekend off, relax, enjoy yourselves, but be ready on Monday because we're going to keep on learning that math.